What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Pee Wee the Plug. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to ESPN's top 100 players list. I've been waiting for this list to drop. I almost reacted a few days ago prematurely, but I was like, be patient, P. Wait for the whole list to drop, and we can just go through all 100 players, player by player. I do want to say, though, just so y'all know, I'm going to generally react to this list. So there are going to be probably some things because I haven't really dove into it. I've seen some things on Twitter over the last few days, but I haven't really gone in to look. There are going to be some things to react to. But I know a lot of other people are going to sit here and really dissect it and really use their brain cells and brain power to say, well, he had a higher plus minus. Their team won 2 more games. He averaged 1 more point and he had 0.2 more block. I'm not doing it. I'm going to look at it and say, whoa, I don't think he belongs here. This is very low for him, or this is very high for him, or I would have probably had him here, or man, that was correct. I think he's in the range of that. You're not going to agree with everything that has 100 things in it. In any sport, any general pop culture thing that has a list of 100, we are all going to disagree. Like how we gauge and value everything in life as people is different. And I think that's the important thing to remember when we do things like this. I see a lot of times on social media where everybody is just like bumping heads over things that we're not supposed to agree on. If we all agree, if ESPN put out a top 100 list and we all agreed, sports would be boring. I would have no job. I would have no job. It would be no fun. It would be nobody to talk to, nobody to debate to. If y'all watched every video I dropped and in the comments, y'all was like, agree. 100%. I have no problem with what you say. I agree with everything. There would be nothing. Nothing would exist. We need to have different opinions and different values. I think that's okay. I don't want to get sidetracked into that. There's just a lot going on in the times of today. And we all are just like want each other to really like view life how we all view it. That's just not the case. And I think that's the beauty part of life, where we can all come together with different perspectives and different values, whatever. We're going to generally discuss this list, plain and simple. The last thing I want to say before we dive into the list, we're a couple weeks away from the league popping back off and starting opening night. A lot of big things coming to this channel. I discussed some of these things on Twitch live. If you haven't seen or you weren't there, it's totally cool. But I just want y'all to understand and prepare that a lot of new things are coming to this channel. A lot of big things, things that I've never done before. I think we had a really good year this past year. I appreciate you guys on my journey and everything. But I think this year is going to be the biggest year we've seen just yet. And it's going to be for a lot of different things, basketball included, outside of basketball. We also have things on this channel that are no longer going to live on this channel. They're going to go to other places so that we can focus and have one general area and spot dedicated for a particular type of content. I just want to let y'all know, without further ado, let's dive into this list. You dig? So here we are, NBA rank 2023 player rankings from 2023-2024 season. It says 100 to 51, but this is when they first announced the list. We have everything that we need to see. At 100, we have my Knicks starting center, Mitchell Robinson. Again, to just generally react fresh off of my head, do I think Mitchell Robinson is a 100 player in the NBA? No, I think he should be somewhat higher. I don't want to say a lot higher. I don't think Mitchell Robinson is a top 60 or top 75 player, but I'm almost sure, like Jonas Valanciunas, I would take Mitchell Robinson over Jonas Valanciunas. But again, like I said earlier, we're not going to nitpick over one spot or nothing like that. But when I look at his previous rank, it was 98. So I don't understand how he dropped, especially with what he did in the playoffs. I think what you get out of Mitchell Robinson is rebounding, shots blocked, and he can, dunk, lobs, or clean up the glass. And I think that's what you want from centers. There are certainly areas Mitchell Robinson can grow in, and I hope he does and continues to grow. But I think he is a lot more valuable than just dead on 100. But hey, there you have it. 99, we have Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas Valanciunas is in a weird spot to me. He's a guy that I probably am surprised that he even made it, because I feel like the last couple of years it's been a weird spot for him with the Pelicans. They don't really know how to play him. His minutes have kind of gone down. There was one point when he first arrived to the Pelicans, that first year, or maybe it was the second year, I felt like he was the most underrated center in the league, personally. He was knocking down the three-pointers. He obviously isn't like this defensive anchoring big, but I also don't think he is soft down there. He's willing to, be a bruiser and get physical, can rebound, offensive rebound. And he was really good, a bully. So it's interesting. And as we can see, 84 last year, dropped down to 99. So yeah, it's regressing and going down for him. But I do think Valanciunas in maybe another situation can do his thing. We see what he can do for his home country, but he got to come do it in the NBA. Colin Sexton, this is what I mean about like Mitchell Robinson. Again, it's only a couple spots, but I think I would rather have Mitchell Robinson today versus Colin Sexton. But shout out to Colin Sexton for progressing on this list. Last year, he was not ranked. And today, he is 98. One huge question: can Sexton convince Jazz management he should be considered part of the franchise long-term foundation? He's been on Utah's short list of players who were off limits in trade discussions. The vision for Sexton in Utah is him being a sixth man who provides a strong putt. See, now that's interesting. I am on record of saying when Colin Sexton first came in the league and everybody was obsessed with Colin Sexton and had high hopes for him, as they should have because he was a great player. But I always saw the vision of him being a six man too. The one thing I will say to push back on my long-term vision of him and what he is and now is that Utah doesn't have a permanent point guard. So I felt like this was a nice situation for Colin Sexton to try and compete for a lead guard role on a young Jazz team, unless Keontae George took his summer league performances into training camp, into preseason, and earned the starting point guard reins as a rookie. And then you also have THT. But I felt like that was a winnable job for Colin Sexton to maybe give himself one last chance to show he is a starter or a starting level player, depending on what team he is, especially because Jordan Clarkson is a six man. They may start him because he's Jordan Clarkson and he's one of their best scorers, but because they have Lowry, I wouldn't mind Jordan Clarkson being the six man again and letting Colin Sexton or THT command the point guard spot and letting somebody like Ochai Agbaji start, and then having that surefire scoring punch of Jordan Clarkson off of the bench. Shout out to Colin Sexton. Grant Williams, another interesting guy. I don't know how I view Grant Williams because he played a lot more with Ime, if I'm not mistaken. Last year was kind of weird, or maybe I have it opposite, but I don't know his footing because the Celtics kind of – there's a vision where he's like a P.J. Tucker-esque player, but then it's like he can't guard the perimeter as well as P.J. Tucker, but he can guard as well as prime P.J. Tucker. But he can go down there and bang with guys who are bigger, taller, but he has the stats. So it's very weird. And then he got the corner three-point shot. Last year he was ranked 99. Now he's up 97. I know it's only two spots, and I'm not trying to nitpick, but if there was any guess for me before this list, I would have thought that Grant Williams might have dropped out. Grant Williams is a guy that I could see not making this list, and then now that he's on the Mavs, they're like, let's see if you get back to 99 or top 100 player. New face, new place. Dallas prioritized defense, intelligence, and toughness last offseason, which is why they deemed Williams worthy of a 4-year, $54 million contract and gave up 2030 first-round pick swap rights in a 3-team sign-and-trade deal. Nothing too crazy. Just new face, new place, really. Harrison Barnes, 96. I think this is super proper. Harrison Barnes is the legitimate, definition. I almost said identity. Definition of a pro's pro. I think Harrison Barnes can play for all 30 teams. I think he can fit anywhere. He can be a standstill catch and shoot guy. He can guard 3 positions, 2 through 4, switchable versatility. He might can go and create his own shot every once in a while. Is he a top priority scoring option and you're calling ISOs for him? No, but he can turn something into nothing on very few occasions. And to see him drop is understandable because the Kings had him fall in their list of priorities. You have Fox, Sabonis, and then you have like Keegan Murray, and then you have you have Kevin Huerter, then Keegan Murray, then Monk, and then Harrison Barnes. So he kind of, fell in the list of priorities for the Kings, but I still think 96 is really good. Maybe could be even higher a little bit because he's a pro's pro. He's a legitimate professional and a veteran that I think can go play anywhere. And he's always been that guy. It's just that the Warriors put him in a bad spot because you replace him with KD, and it's like, oh, these are all the shots Barnes was missing. And he does have that little remembrance in everybody's brain where he was just missing and clanking for the Warriors in the finals. But you replace KD with anybody, and it's going to look foolish. So Shout out to one huge question. What will be his role this season? Barnes signed a 3-year, 54. I think that's not a huge question. I know they added Sasha, but I think he gives them versatility defensively, which I think Sasha probably won't. Trey Lyles maybe can, but won't be as good as Barnes. And you don't know exactly what type of jump we're getting for Keegan Murray. So I think Harrison Barnes is still a good insurance out there. And if all fails, you put him on a trade market and you accept that he's not going to get you back anything extreme, but he's going to be a guy that can be movable if you have a strong need. J-Dub at 95. I think this is cool. I can vibe with this. I can vibe with J-Dub being 95. Maybe could potentially be even higher. I know you want to hold the brakes because he is coming off of a rookie season and you want to see more from these young players before you glorify them too highly. But this is good. So the Thunder, in theory, they'll have J-Dub. I know they got Chet on here because ESPN is going to hype stuff up, but we haven't even seen him and Vic play. I know Vic is on here. I can't remember how high. I seen somebody say something about it on Twitter. So I know Chet is on here. Shea is definitely on here. Giddey is on here. So the Thunder have 4 guys in the top 100 who are probably all. Shea is probably 25, right? Shea is probably 25. I want to Google that, but we'll let it. Let's see. Is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander? Shea is. How old is Shea? Shea is 25. Just turned 25. Okay, so I'm right. So you got 4 guys up here. The oldest is 25. That's a good look for the Thunder. J-Dub, I think next year will probably be a lot higher than this because I think he's a basketball player who gets better every year. So I don't see him having a sophomore slump. If anything, there's probably more mouths to feed, but I still think he can show his value even in that crowded situation. Russell Westbrook, 94. It's hard to argue because last year was such a tough year. The last couple of years have been tough years with the Lakers and everything like that. And the small part with the Clippers that we did see, which I think was a big boost and reminder that Russ in the right situation and utilized properly is a valuable asset. That was a small portion. So hopefully this year can be a bounce back year. I still think Russ is in this range, in my opinion. I think he's 65 to 78, 75 range. 94 is tough. 94 is a tough spot for Russ. I understand it, though. That's the thing. I disagree, but I understand it. And I think this year could be a year where we could see Russ get back to 65 to 70 to 75 type range. And depending on how well the Clippers play, maybe even higher. Could Russ enter the top back half of 50, 57, 58? Could he? We'll see. Mike Conley. Yeah, like I think I'll take Russell Westbrook over Mike Conley. I think Mike Conley's in a better situation. That just showed, like, Russell Westbrook Laker or Mike Conley Timberwolf or Jazz. I would have taken Mike Conley Timberwolf of Jazz. I think he fits better. Russell Westbrook Wizards, it's not even a conversation. Russell Westbrook Clippers playoffs, not even a conversation. By far, they're 20 spots. They're 20 spot difference with Russell Westbrook in the right situation. But we just have to see it for a full year with the Clippers. Mike Conley, this is solid. This is a solid spot for Mike Conley. I think we'll continue to see Mike Conley in the 90s. This is just a place for him. If he's going to continue to be on his list, he'll be in the 90s. Mike Conley is kind of like Harrison Barnes. Professional, can go anywhere and fit. Play on the ball, good decision maker, play off the ball, knock down a three-point shot. Never going to be too much of a liability on defense. Only if it ever happens because of age. But Mike Conley knows the game, plays the right way, and is a professional. And I think teams are going to value him, especially as he transitions into potentially being a backup. He is going to be an older vet, highly valued backup going forward. Right now, he still has a starting position, but going forward, if he ever runs into that situation, like I could see Mike Conley being a backup to somebody like Trae Young or, something like that. He can be a backup anywhere, obviously, but yeah. Emmanuel Quickley, 92. This is a good spot for me, Emmanuel Quickley. Not ranked last year. Obviously, there's probably going to be some guys ahead of him who I'm like, I could probably take Emmanuel Quickley. But again, I'm looking at it for guys who weren't on his list last year. This is a good spot. This is a good spot, man. This is a good spot. What is his future in New York? Yeah, his future in New York is bleak because the Knicks are going to make a move at some point. If Joel Embiid requests a trade, Emmanuel Quickly is going to be in a package. We don't have Obi Toppin anymore. He went to the Pacers. So Emmanuel Quickly, Mitchell Robinson, the draft picks that we have, teams are going to want Quentin Grimes. I hope we don't move on from Quentin Grimes, but you'll probably see like a RJ Mitchell, Quickly, some picks for Embiid type situation. So 92 is good for a guy who wasn't on the list last year. Another Knicks. So we have Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickly, Josh Hart. We're going to have Brunson. We're going to have Randall. Is RJ Barrett on the list? If RJ Barrett is on the list, we got 6 guys. Is RJ Barrett on the list though? 91 for Josh Hart. I like Josh Hart as a glue guy. This is impressive. Again, considering the fact that he wasn't ranked. The fact that it's a lot of guys who weren't ranked last year who are now entering this list. So I have to prepare myself for some guys to fall off. But I think this is really good for Josh Hart. Highly sought after player, can do a lot of different things. John Collins, really good situation for John Collins because as you can see, last year was ranked 73. Last year was probably his worst year with the Hawks. They finally moved off of him this year and let him go to the Jazz. That's been over his head the last, I don't know how many years when the Hawks had him in all type of trade conversations. 90 is good for a guy coming off the year that he had. Hopefully the Jazz year can propel him back far away from the back end of this list. But I have high hopes for John Collins, but this makes sense. This is probably the best one that I've seen. It's probably the best ranking I've seen thus far, in my opinion. Robert Williams, 58 last year, 89 this year. It's tough to gauge because Robert Williams always has injury history. He's also now in a new situation. I think the Celtics were a really good team. We got to really see his value. The same can be said with the Portland Trailblazers. They're not going to be really good. Maybe he does more. Maybe his defensive impact doesn't hit the same with a team that's a lot younger and they're not that good defense. There's a lot of questions. So I think this is safe. This is a safe place for Robert Williams so far because, I don't know what to expect with the Blazers. This is safe. He needs to worry about getting healthy and being able to play 65 games plus per year. I think that's the main thing. Kevon Looney, 88. This is why I said what we value, what we gauge as individuals is important because Kevon Looney does a lot for the Warriors and he's perfect for the Warriors and that's where his value comes in. And I'm glad that ESPN is honoring that at 88 because last year he wasn't ranked. And these last 2 postseasons, in my opinion, I don't know how he wasn't ranked last year, but these last 2 postseasons we've seen Kevon Looney has an importance. Kevon Looney can score 2 points, 4 points, but he'll have 21 rebounds in a playoff game for the Warriors, a team that lacks size. They have Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Clay. You know what I'm saying? Like, he plays a big part of that for them and allows them to have mobility and range defensively and offensively while also making sure that they don't lack on the glass. And I'm glad to see that he's getting some type of flowers because I felt like that hasn't gotten noticed. 87 for Buddy Hield. This is probably the first one where I'm scratching my head. And last year he was 90. That was still low. 80. Buddy Hield is one of the best three-point shooters outside of those guys in Golden State. So, and there's probably an argument that he's probably shot the ball better than Klay Thompson. I don't want to attach myself to that because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but Buddy Hield is a sniper. It's like sniper gang. And the Pacers had a really good start last year till Tyrese Halliburton had the injuries, but I think Buddy Hield can be closer to 75 than 87. That's just my personal opinion. Same thing with Kyle Kuzma. Maybe they don't value it because these are 2 teams that aren't playoff teams, especially Kyle Kuzma playing in DC. But, man, I think Kyle Kuzma had a really good year. But I will give ESPN a little bit of a break because he wasn't ranked last year. Surprisingly, he wasn't ranked last year. That is crazy. So, last year, they thought 100 players were better than Kyle Kuzma. That's interesting. I don't think 100 players are better than Kyle Kuzma last year. I don't. Anthony Simons moving up. Anthony Simons, this is your year. This is your year to wake them up. 85 and 91 is too low, but I get it. Last year, you kind of were shadowed by Dame. The year before, Dame missed a stretch of games, and a lot of time they probably didn't really know how to value it. If it was real, they didn't want to commit to it, so they played it safe. This is the year, because I'm even seeing after the Dame trade where the sixth man is Anthony Simons. Y'all must not know about who Anthony Simons is. Anthony Simons potentially can be the Blazers' best player this year. I don't know what to expect from DeAndre Ayton. I don't know what to expect from Scoot, but I know Anthony Simons is going to be in the conversation. He's going to be in the conversation for the Blazers' best player this year. And a lot of people are not woke on that. But I think 85, they're playing it safe. But I think knowing what I know, he's a lot higher than 85. That's my opinion. Clint Capella, 84. What does Clint Capella do that Mitchell Robinson doesn't do? Does Clint Capella score, a couple more points? But they're the same type of player. So this is where I kind of get confused. Capella remains one of the league's top offensive rebounders. Mitchell Robinson does that too. He has finished top 3 in offensive rebounds in each of the past 3 seasons and is the only player with at least 250 offensive rebounds in each of those campaigns. Also, in 19 games under Coach Quinn Snyder, Capella offensive efficiency took a jump. He shot. Yeah, okay, that's 19 games. That's 19 games, y'all. But essentially, for him to be 16 spots higher than Mitchell Robinson is a big head scratcher for me. It's a big head scratcher. He's regressing as well. They had him at 79 last year. This year he's coming in at 84. So he's going back. Tobias Harris, 56. You know, this is interesting because I feel like Tobias Harris is coming off of one of his strongest seasons. Point totals may have dropped and things like that, but him as an entire basketball player, well-roundedness, the fact that he took on the assignment defensively for them last year, I think doesn't get talked about enough. And I feel like if Tobias Harris wasn't on such a big contract, he would be a lot more valuable. I think that contract gets attached to his name, and that creates this illusion that these certain type of expectations are supposed to be thrown on him. But I think if you just value Tobias on when he's given you in this Philadelphia 76er team, it's valuable, man. He's a lot higher than 83 in my opinion. Like, he came in, switched his game to fit with James Harden and Embiid, took on the defensive assignments. He's knocking down shots. He's staying consistent. Yeah, there are times where he goes missing. That's the entire Philadelphia 76er team. James Harden goes missing at times. Joel Embiid goes missing at times. Like, that's their identity, Philadelphia. They're trying to get over that to be the team that a lot of people think they can be. But I think Tobias Harris has transitioned his game and molded himself into a player like Harrison Barnes, we spoke about earlier, a true professional who probably can play for all 30 teams, especially once this money gets off of the books. I think this is last year of his deal, Tobias Harris. When he goes into the open market and he's now a $20 million player, $22 million player, and not like $34, $35 million, I think people are going to be like, man, he's a bargain to get Tobias on a $20 million deal if it goes that low. But I think Tobias Harris, maybe not 56, but definitely not 83. I think somewhere in the middle of that. Maybe 72. I don't know who's around 72 yet, but maybe 72. Cam Johnson is not – I'm not putting Cam Johnson over Kevin Durant. I mean, over Kevin Durant. I see the name Kevin Durant here. I'm not putting Cam Johnson over Kyle Kuzma. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Kyle Kuzma had a better year, and to me right now is a better player than Cam Johnson. You may like what you get out of Cam. 3-and-D, shoots the ball is extremely good, but Kyle Kuzma on nights was the number one go-to guy for the Wizards. Hit big shots, game winners. On a team with Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis. I think Kyle Kuzma is a better player than Cam Johnson. I think Anthony Simons is a better player than Cam Johnson as well. No hate to Cam Johnson, but damn, this is high for a guy that wasn't ranked to jump right into 82 over some of the names I named. This is the first one where I'm kind of like, there's arguments for Anthony Simons and Kyle Kuzma to be higher than Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson is very good, but I know what I'm getting from him, I think. You know what I mean? I know what I'm getting from him. But I do like Cam Johnson a lot. Bobby Portis, 81. Went from not ranked to 81. Bobby Portis is definitely deserving to be on this list. 81 is high to me. 81 is extremely high. But he is one of the most important bench pieces in the league. I think I would probably take Tobias Harris before I take Bobby Portis. That's just my opinion. It's only a couple spots, but I think I would take Jalen Green at 80 after being 62. That's the problem. They bit off a little bit more than they could chew last year, threw him into the 60s prematurely. I think Jalen Green is a lot more valuable than 80, especially knowing that Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks are coming in, especially with Ime. Now, am I ready to throw Jalen Green at 62? No, but I guarantee we're going to pass at least 5 guys very soon, and I'm saying I'll take Jalen Green over them. Would I take Tyler Hero over Jalen Green? I'm taking Jalen Green. And they have him as PG. I like that, but I'm taking Jalen Green. Both drop. Oh, so they're buddies. He was 61 last year. Green was 62. He's 79. Green 80. So they're just making it a point to say, hey, wherever Jalen Green is, Tyler Hero is going to be one spot above him. Yeah, man, I'm taking Jalen Green. Why he could exceed. So they already prepared to say that they had him too low. They already preparing for it. They know they made a mistake. What is his thing? One game to watch this season. I don't care about what game. I like Tyler Hero. I definitely feel like Tyler Hero can go somewhere and spread his wings a little bit more. But maybe that is with Miami. Maybe they're going to need even more of him because they did lose Gabe Vincent. They did lose Max Strus. There was conversations over the last few years. Is he a 6-man? Now he showed he is a legitimate starter. I do like Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero has had some conversations on his name that aren't just. Now, am I trading my star player and building around Tyler Hero? Hell no. I don't think Portland was wrong for that at all. But Tyler Hero is still a really good player. But I do think I would lean on Jalen Green over. Come on, man. We ain't seen Scoot play yet. We have not seen Scoot play yet. I like Scoot. I like Vic. We haven't seen them play yet. For them, Scoot got to have a good year because Jalen Green has his deficiencies and he has rooms to improve. But for a guy to not play a single game yet and be at 78 it's a lot of pressure. I don't think Scoot Henderson is going to be better than Anthony Simons this year. I do not. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on a young player. And that, man, give me Anthony Simons higher than Scoot Henderson. I don't mind it. They love some of these rookies. You want to put them on the top 100, go right ahead. But this means they think he's going to be the best player on the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think so. I think that is Anthony Simons or DeAndre Ayton for sure. And I'm leaning heavily on Anthony Simons. One game to watch. I don't really care about him versus Vic. Jordan Clarkson at 77. Last year was 85. I actually want to give ESPN a round of applause for this. I think you have guys like Jordan Clarkson. I think they get bad raps because it's like a chucker or whatever. But I think that is a role that's needed. You need a guy who is willing to not care about percentages. He's willing to take any shot. You need guys like that who are like firecracker guys who are willing to be the chuckers because everybody is so worried about percentages and how well they're shooting. Like Jordan Clarkson is like, nah, you want me to shoot a 3 fading away out of bounds? Yeah, I'll do it for you. I'll do it. And you need guys who are willing to take tough shots and make tough shots and, just say, hey, I'll just shoot it. A lot of guys aren't willing to do that, and he is. And I think it opens up a lot for them in their offense. And you live with it. And I'm so happy that the Jazz have empowered him to be that type of player because he's now at his fullest value. Just kind of like Lou Williams. You had to let Lou Williams be Lou Will. He had to take tough shots, make tough shots, have nights where he's not making them and be cold. And it's like, oh, that was a bad shot. Yeah, it's a bad shot, but he can make that shot. And I think Jordan Clarkson is the most valuable he's been in the league with the Jazz because they really unhandcuffed him and said, be you. Be you. You want to wear high socks and headbands and all the tattoos and shoot threes from everywhere and just play loose crazy like we're not in an NBA game? Go ahead. And we've seen the value of letting a player do that and be that. So I love to see Jordan Clarkson progress higher on this list because I do think what he does is unique but needed. Chris Paul, 76. Last year was a 21. Oh, Chris Paul fell 50 spots. I'm not mad at it. I like it. Have balls. Be bold. Chris Paul definitely should have failed. But I'm glad that he is still a top player, a top 100 player, 76. But him and Russell Westbrook shouldn't have this big of a gap. Not at this point in their careers. They give you two different things, play two different styles, play two different ways. But Russell Westbrook is not 20 spots different than Chris Paul at this stage in their careers, if I'm just keeping it a buck. But I do think this is fair considering the fact that Chris Paul didn't have the best year last year. He's entering a situation with the Warriors where his role is to be determined. You know he's going to be impactful, but is he going to start? Is he coming off the bench? Is he going to be able to gel in it? Whatever. He's saying all the right things. They're all saying the right things. Cool little moment in the preseason when he threw it down to Steph. Steph hit the three. Good pass, all of that. But for an 82-game season, we have to figure that out. So I understand it. Nikola Vucevic, 75. Not mad at it. It is definitely getting weird seeing guys that we grew up on the last whatever years doing great things fall this low. He was last year was 57, now he's 75. Number reversed. It's time for him and the Bulls and to have this one last thing, one last run, one last chance. And I think a lot of that depends on him. He has been consistent, but I think they need him to kind of be more of what he was in Orlando, and also just try a little bit harder on defense. He don't have to be an anchor. He don't have to be something that he's never been. But they just showed a clip, I think, from preseason game where he just let a person walk right by him and lay it up. I forget who it was, but it was just like unacceptable. Like, you're not even gonna try? Then yeah, put his ass at 75, maybe even lower. Cade Cunningham at 74. Cade Cunningham at 74. Chet Holmgren at 73. Jordan Poole at 72. Okay. Cunningham's fall in the rankings comes after he played 12 games. Cool. Okay, understandable. So you're highlighting the fact that he only played 12 games last year. But you're highlighting that he could also exceed it. And I guess it does put them in a tough spot. He didn't play a lot, but they threw him at 35 last year anyway, expecting a big jump. I would have stood tall on it. I would have stood on it. Like, hey, he was injured last year. We still have him a little bit higher because we're now expecting that jump from last year to be this year. So we're standing on his position and being here, because now you have to put this right here, this clause of like, yeah, we have him at 74. We're very well aware that he could be in the top 40 though. Like, yeah. Chet, same thing here. He wasn't ranked, but now he's 73 without playing a single game in the NBA. Holmgren could be a huge difference maker for the Thunder. His potential to impact the game on both ends of the floor with his height and length is tantalizing. If Holmgren can make shots and erase them on the other end and isn't pushed around by stronger bigs, he could certainly exceed this ranking. I guess this is fair. Y'all put Scoot at 78. All of this is going to be fair now. Jordan Poole at 72. Last year was 55. I don't care about what game to watch. Him versus the Warriors, cool. This is cool. But this is, again, why I was kind of had a problem with Kuzma being, because there's a world where Kuzma is their best player. There's also a world where Jordan Poole, you want Jordan Poole to be the best player, but they both could just be playing off of each other and just have a good little duo starting up there. I'm interested to see how it's going to work out, because I know they have Tyus Jones as well, who they're going to look at to be the lead guard, but you also want Jordan Poole to be able to beat Jordan Poole. That's his value. And hopefully, like we talked about with Jordan Clarkson, they let Jordan Poole be him. He does have to play a little bit more in control. His mistakes are going to be a lot more highlighted because he's not playing on the Golden State Warriors, who can erase and clean up some of the mistakes that he made and out of controlness that he had. But I love the fact that he's buying into being a leader. We've heard a lot of different stories over the summer, and he's taking on a new challenge and a new role, and he's excited to really be let free. So I would definitely expect Jordan Poole next year to be a lot higher than 72. I'm feeling like he's going to have one of those type of years that's quote unquote breakout. So yeah, he should be back around this ranking next year. RJ Barrett is ranked. Okay, so RJ Barrett is ranked. I was, scared that they weren't going to have him ranked. RJ Barrett was 63 last year. RJ Barrett is 71. I wouldn't have mind RJ Barrett being around 74. I would project Cade Cunningham to have a better year. I would project Chet to have a better year. I would probably even project Jordan Poole. As a Knicks fan, I'm starting to realize that the thing in the issue that we have as Knicks fans with RJ Barrett, and maybe the entire basketball community, is the fact that we just don't accept RJ Barrett for who he is. RJ Barrett is just going to be a solid, good wing who is a starting caliber wing. But like having all-star expectations and all-NBA and comparing them to all of these people he would drafted around, I think we set ourselves up for failure. Barrett shot 40% from three-point in the second NBA season. His percentages in his other 3 seasons with the Knicks, though, are underwhelming: 32, 34, 31. The difference between RJ being an adequate player and one who could be a real impact player, I don't buy into the shot. I think it's a three-point shooting, and I think it's self-creation. He don't really do either. And then also finishing at the rim. He gets there, but that's just the conversation that's continuing to be had. So I don't know. And he wasn't the same defensively. So whatever. Walker Kessler, 70th. I like this, man. I think Walker Kessler should have some respect on his name, man. Walker Kessler should be up here. He had a really good year as a rookie. I think he's going to build on that. He had a great year as a rookie, and I think he's going to build on that. It's a nice spot for a guy who's coming into the year after not being ranked in the second year. Brook Lopez, 69. He wasn't ranked last year. Injuries and different things like that. 69 is cool because last year he was incredible protecting the rim and also spacing the floor for the Bucks. So I can buy into Brook Lopez being 69. Michael Porter Jr., 68. He moved up after last year was 72. 68 is fair. Coming off a championship season, championship run, 68 is fair. Definitely want to see some things cleaned up with Michael Porter Jr., but I think they found the recipe with Aaron Gordon to where they don't have to really concern themselves with his defensive woes. But there probably is another step for him, potentially. So hopefully he doesn't get complacent. OG Anunoby, 67 after the year he had. He moved up from 75 to 67. I think this is fair, but I think there's also another step for him to go. I do. Maybe it's with a different team. Maybe it won't be this year, but I think OG could get even a little bit higher, in my opinion. But 67 is cool. I'm agreeing. I'm liking some of these rankings. Austin Reeves, 66. I don't know if I'm ready. I think Austin Reeves, he had a really good year, but I think Austin Reeves should be in the 70s. I think Austin Reeves should be like around 74, 73, and even 72. I don't know if he should be in front of some of these other guys. I'm buying in on Austin Reeves, but then there's also a world where Austin Reeves is just cool. But this is like saying you think he's going to be, solidified. You think, you believe in everything. You're projecting a little bit because his year last year was good, but it wasn't like, out of this world. OG was a menace defensively and shot the 3-ball really well. I like Austin Reeves, but this is high. It's expected, not ranked to 66. What did he average last year? Like, okay, they're going off of Team USA, second leading scorer. I could see that. I'm not mad at it though. But this is a lot higher than I probably expected. Miles Turner, 65. Really good year for Miles Turner. One spot up on the ranking. You would think he would be a little bit higher, not just one spot, because he had 2 totally different type of years. But overall, I think 65 is solid for him. Rudy from 18 to 64. Thank you. Still solid, still good, but definitely did not have a crazy year last year. I honestly would have probably considered putting Miles Turner a little higher just because. Matter of fact, no, I think this is right. I'll put Rudy there. 18 to 64 is perfect. They got to figure some things out in Minnesota, but he definitely didn't have the type of year that we had seen in previous years. I think that's fair. Scotty Barnes, 63. I would not have a Scotty Barnes above OG Anunoby. Scotty Barnes should be in the 70s. Just keeping it a buck. Scotty Barnes should be in the 70s. He really should be. He should be like 71, around what RJ is. And that's just my opinion. I don't think he's that. Like last year was a tough year. And he's in a tough situation because they just have a lot of stuff clunked up together. And I think Scotty Barnes is a good player, and I think he definitely should have fell from 39. But one huge question, will the real Scotty Barnes please stand up? After an impressive debut season culminated with the NBA's Rookie of the Year, Barnes struggled to replicate that success as a sophomore. Yeah, so if he struggled, how do y'all still have him against guys who necessarily didn't struggle? I don't like Scotty Barnes at 63. That seems high. Porzingis at 62 after being at 86. Let's talk about it. Porzingis had one of the best years of anybody last year as far as bounce back. And I don't think it gets talked about enough. He was super efficient as a center, shooting threes, mid ranges, off the glass. Playmaking took a step up. Defensively, interior, rim protection, off the charts. I probably just got lost in the shuffle because he played for Washington. But I love the fact that my guy jumped up significantly. Desmond Bane at 61. This is extremely low to me. He should be a lot higher. In my opinion, he should not be 2 spots removed from Scotty Barnes. Or maybe that's just down put. Yeah, I would take Desmond Bane over DeJounte. I would take Desmond Bane over Marcus Smart. I would take Desmond Bane over Jeremy Grant. Zion. I would take Desmond Bane over Fred. So, yeah, I think he should be in the 50s. I don't want to nitpick, but Desmond Bane at 61, I was not prepared to see. He should not be 7 spots up. Yeah, and they already had, they try to cover their ass when they do this by saying he could exceed. No, he's going to exceed. He's going to exceed. Desmond Bane, especially with Ja missing 25 games, they're going to lean on him a lot. He was incredible last year. I do not like that at all. DeJounte Murray definitely should have dipped because he had a down year. Still was a solid year, but definitely wasn't the same in the first year with Atlanta. But I don't think he's 1 spot ahead of Desmond Bane. I think that is not true at all, especially if you're classifying them both as shooting guards in the same position. Hell no. If you were trying to call Desmond Bane a 3 because he's probably going to play that with Ja, Smart, him, sure, but no. Marcus Smart, yeah, just didn't have the same type of impactful year coming off a Defensive Player of the Year season, but I still think he is one of the more valuable guys. 59 seems safe. I didn't realize he was super high at 34. But I think he could fit real well with the Grizzlies. He embodies the grit and grind mentality. So I would expect him to probably be a few slots higher next season. Jeremy Grant, I think, is cool at 58. I wouldn't be surprised if he slipped because the Portland Trail Blazers are a lot younger and they're probably going to prioritize Anthony Simon, Scoot Henderson, DeAndre Ayton, Shaedon Sharpe, and he probably won't have the same value. We love Jeremy Grant because of the scoring steps and jumps he took ever since he went to Detroit and then to the Portland Trail. He might slip a little bit with that, and his defensive value may not jump off the screen because he won't be playing with a group of guys who are looking for that or showing that. But if he does get moved to a playoff team who is looking to utilize that, those skills and impact may jump off the screen a little bit more, or the numbers may jump out at us a lot more. But especially with the contract, Jeremy Grant may fall. And they're going off of last year, I think. Some of these players, it looks like they're projecting, but it looks like they're going off of last year. I can't project Jeremy Grant to have this same type of year or even better year than last year because the entire dynamic of the team is changing without Damian Lillard. They already weren't a playoff team and struggled, but now they definitely won't be that and won't be competing for that. And the values that he brings to the table may not show. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a chance where it just may not show. Zion was 40 last year. Obviously, injuries with him and BI. He dropped to 57. Cool. I bet any type of money if this dude is healthy, he's going to be top 25. Easily. Don't even have to speak on that. Top 25 for sure. Fred fell. Tough year last year for him and everybody on the Raptors besides a couple of guys. But, yeah, he fell. He probably will continue to fall depending on the type of year he has with the Rockets. The money and the contract and the fact that the Rockets probably will struggle at some point. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't, man. Maybe they won't. Maybe the Ime, the additions of him, Dylan Brooks, another year for Tari Eason, Jalen Green, Şengün, Amen. Maybe they will be a lot better than we're projecting them to be. Maybe they won't be a playoff team, but maybe they'll be a lot more competitive. So we'll see. We'll see. But I do think this is fair considering the year he had last year and the fact that he's going to a youthful team. We shall see. Draymond at 55, fell a couple spots down. I still do think he potentially could be a top 50 player because of the impact, especially on the defensive side of the basketball. But I can understand why they have some of these guys in the Warriors falling just a little bit. The age is catching up. They're projected a little bit for some of these younger guys to take steps and leaps. But Draymond Green is still valuable in this league. Wiggins at 54. Again, coming off the year he had last year, he missed a lot of time, personal, family reasons. Understandable. We didn't get the same type of impact the year before. He was an all-star starter. So 32 to 54, justified. I would love to see him have a bounce back year. It was good to see all of the love and praise he was getting during the season, especially the postseason when they won that championship. But obviously, like I said, the missed time last year took away from some of his season. So I would love to see Andrew Wiggins get back to the player we were seeing him be in that postseason run. Josh Giddey, 53. I would rather Okay, never mind. Josh Giddey is perfect here. 53 is perfect. 53 is perfect. Interesting to see. We've had, the Thunder are adding Chet. There's another mouth to feed there. You got J-Dub, who projects to have another really good year. There's a lot going on in OKC. I think the upside with Giddey is the fact that he doesn't necessarily need to score the ball. He's a guy who is going to be a stat sheet stuffer. And I do think he is an integral, I'm fucking up that word. Intricate piece to the Thunder. And I like him and Shea in the backcourt. This always throws me off. I look at Giddey as the point guard. I'm not going to lie. I look at Giddey as the point guard. He got to shoot that 3 ball. Franz, 52. Okay. Aaron Gordon at 51, I can live with. I was about to say Franz maybe could be a little bit higher, but I think this is safe. Wasn't ranked last year. I'm projecting a little bit. But when Aaron Gordon brings to the Denver Nuggets, we have to accept, we have to love. And we've seen every team needs this type of guy. He is a big instrumental part for them being a championship team. He clears up a lot of the holes that they have from other players. But I like Aaron Gordon at 51. Jared Allen at 50. Only 2 spots behind. Why he rose. Allen remains a throwback center in today's jump shooting NBA. But so long as the league has a handful of dominant big men playing with more traditional approach, yeah, I think this is cool. But again, I don't know if is Jared Allen 50 spots between Mitchell Robinson. I understand if you're still taking him over him, but are they 50 spot difference? A 50 spot difference between Jared Allen and Mitchell Robinson. I'm not going just off of the playoffs, but just in general, what they bring to the table, how they are as players, what they do for their teams. Are they even numbers wise? Are they 50 spots between each other? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. That's high for Jared Allen. DeAndre Ayton rose 2 spots. They're saying he could be a more focal part after playing with all of these different guys in Phoenix. They're projecting, and I think this is good. I like DeAndre Ayton at 49. DeAndre Ayton, you have to show us something, though. This is him at 49. Anything that's not what we expect from him in Portland, then we drop him significantly in the 70s because he gave you 18 and 10 on a crowded team. Now he's in Portland. He should be giving us about 22 and 12, if I'm being honest. 22 and 12 is what I'm expecting. LaMelo Ball, 48. Injuries, the Hornets suck. That's going to be my excuse for ESPN. This dude should be a lot higher on a not so down year with injuries and a bad team. LaMelo Ball is a lot better than 48 on the top 100, in my opinion. I think he's a special guy. Vic at 47. You know what? Do it, ESPN. Buy into the hype. Take a guy who has not played a single game. Based off what we've seen in preseason, some of the glimpses, I can see it. I can see it. Let's just be happy they didn't put him as a top 35 player. 47, cool. 47 is cool. That's a lot of pressure. That means coming in, he got to be better than LaMelo. He got to be like LaMelo is an all-star in his league. So that's what's up, though. A lot of people reacting to this, but they're projecting in some of their rankings. So they're projecting this dude to be the real deal, and I hope he is as well. And based off, like I said, some of the stuff we saw in the preseason against Chet, he looked like the real deal. Not even really just against Chet, but like the ground he covers, some of the block shots on the perimeter at the rim, leaking out, jumpers. Like Vic, man, it's time to just accept it. The Vic stuff is coming. Chris Middleton, down year for Chris Middleton, so this is understandable. Injury riddled year, kind of like LaMelo. They're both a lot lower than you would expect, but they have to bounce back and answer some of those things or show us and remind us why they were this high in 2022. Understandable. Maybe this is the area we start to see Chris Middleton now that Dame is in town. So that's going to be an interesting thing to unfold there. Julius Randle, top 45 after being down 71 last year. I think this is good. Julius Randle had a really underrated year. Because of the down year, I think a lot of people had written Julius Randle off. And now with the Knicks, he keeps having these amazing years, down year, really good year, down, whatever. But I think 45 is fair. I think this is nice. And I think Jalen Brunson should be nowhere near 45. Jalen Brunson has to be top 35. Now that I see Julius Randle at 45. We have a lot of Knicks players. So we had Emmanuel Quickley. No, we had Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickley, Josh Hart, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and we know we're getting Jalen Brunson. 6 Knicks players in the top 100. We have to stop complaining as a Knicks nation. C.J. McCollum, down year 44. I take Julius Randle over C.J. McCollum. I take Julius Randle over C.J. McCollum's year last year. That's just me. Same spot he kind of was in last year. He moved up one spot. Hopefully this can maybe be a better year with a healthy Zion, healthy Brandon Ingram. CJ had a tough start to the season. Wasn't a god-awful year. He's a basketball player. He's a hooper. He's going to figure it out. But I think Julius Randle had a better year, in my opinion. James Harden from 11 to 43. From 11 to 43. Why he fell 32 spots. Let's see. Harden led the NBA in assists for the second time in his career last season, forming a potent partnership with Joel Embiid, but he lacked the same sort of burst he displayed early in his career as a scorer. And Philadelphia once again saw a season in an Eastern Conference semifinals with a heartbreaking 7-game loss to the Celtics. Harden's trade request an uncertain future with the 76ers makes predicting the former MVP. Okay, so yeah, they're trying to predict. Yeah, this is still low for a guy that what you said. Unless you're really taking into consideration the playoffs heavily, he still gave you 20 and 11, almost 12 assists. The Philadelphia 76ers were still extremely good. And so because of that, I don't think you can really talk about the burst because nobody was expecting a burst or a high level of scoring from James Harden. We kind of accepted that. But we were able to see even without that, he still was able to impact the game significantly. And they were definitely better with him than without him. So unless you're just taking in all of the drama, all of the mess, the requesting trades from 3 teams and 4 seasons and the drama and all of that, unless you're taking that into consideration, just player by player, he may be a little higher than 43. Is he 11? Hell no. But 43 seems a little low. His teammate Tyrese Maxey, spot above him. He rose 2 spots. Continue to be impressive. Yeah, he's one of the best all-around three-point shooters off the catch, dribble, transition, corner, above the break, whatever. So I'm fine with Maxey being this high. I definitely wouldn't have Maxey above Julius Randle, though. But again, we're not here to nitpick. But Julius Randle, I would definitely take above Maxey. Klay Thompson, 4 spots down. Thompson didn't drop in the rankings because of a down year. He didn't have a slow start to see, but he led the league with 301 3-pointers. For Thompson, it's about adjusting his game as he gets older and as other guards come up. That's a legitimate factor. Yeah, there are guys who are coming up and being a little bit more better because Thompson's role is kind of slimming down to, catch and shoot. He's still aggressive, which you have no problem with, but I do think there are going to start to be a little bit of an adjustment period for a lot of the Golden State Warriors guys because they're kind of dipping. Steph is going in the other direction, but, you still love this for Klay Thompson after everything he endured. Evan Mobley at 40 dropped. Why did Evan Mobley drop? After looking like a future superstar during his rookie campaign, Mobley was solid in his sophomore. What? This dude almost won Defensive Player of the Year. Are they serious? Yeah, he wasn't a 30-point scorer. He didn't score 20 points per game like you probably want, but he was his second year, and the value he gave them defensively with the help of Jared Allen, but what he was able to do specifically, this is low. This is low. Just considering how they're riding everybody else. How they're riding Vic came in at 47. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chet came in at 73, ain't played a game. Scoot, high as hell, ain't played a game. But a lot of the second-year players did drop. Jalen Green, Kate Cunningham. So, Franz Wagner, he rose. But, okay, interesting. DeMar DeRozan, he dropped 11 spots. Obviously, it was going to be hard for him to duplicate that same year, but I think this is fair. That's where I kind of caught myself. I don't know if I want to say I am putting Evan Mobley. Based off what he can do for me defensively, I love DeMar DeRozan and everything he can bring to the table, but the Bulls have struggled, man. The Bulls have struggled. And the Cavs, they lived defensively and was the number 1 defense, if I'm not mistaken, to end the year. Largely because of Evan Mobley. So I think I am having Evan Mobley a little bit higher than Zach and DeMar. Maybe even a little bit like I'm not putting now. Okay, now I'm understanding. I'm understanding now. I'm not putting Evan Mobley above any of these dudes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't want to nitpick. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. I got ahead of myself. The highest Evan Mobley probably would have got is probably like 36. You know what I mean? Or 37. He'd been right behind Darius Garland. He'd be right behind. So yeah, I don't want to nitpick, but I think this is justified for the Bulls. DeMar, Zach, Vooch all should have dropped. Very disappointing years. They need to figure it out. If not, Chicago make a move and change the entire direction of the team. That's all I got to say about them. Bradley Beal, 37 is cool after being 19. He's going to be the third guy now in Phoenix. He needs to show that he's willing to do the other things besides trying to be the leading scorer. He talked about defending and being willing to do anything. This is Book's team, everything. That's fine. I like that for him. Beal went from being a number one option to number 3. They saying the same thing. Understandable for Bradley Beal. I don't want to spend too much time on the obvious. Darius Garland, he went up. Okay, perfect. Underrated defender. We know what he can do offensively. I think his second year with Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, Darius Garland is going to have a magnificent year. I'm willing to put my money. He's going to be higher than this next year. Next year, Darius Garland is going to be 30th. 29 to 30, in my opinion. Ja Morant, again, the suspensions, everything like that, that's what they're going off of. He's not going to have the same year, missing 25 games. Other than that, there's nothing that I don't even need to read. I don't even want to read. There should be nothing else that they're saying besides that, if I'm just being honest. Kyrie Irving at 34, he dropped one spot. A team issue suspension and Brooklyn's eventual granting of the trade request added to the 8th All-Star turbulent track record, but he remains one of the. Yeah, I'm taking Kyrie Irving over Mikal Bridges. I am. I'm taking Kyrie Irving over Paolo Banchero. I'm taking Kyrie Irving over Trae Young. Based off last year, I'm taking Kyrie Irving over Brandon Ingram. That's about all I got for you. Y'all got Kyrie twisted. Lauri Markkanen, I can't argue. He had a really, really, really great year. Really, really great year. But so did Kyrie. I'm taking Kyrie over the year Trae had last year. I'm taking Kyrie over the year Paolo had. Like, Kyrie was a monster last year. Are y'all saying, yeah, they're not mentioning the fact he's playing with Luka. They're just saying, hey, he missed a game. But 27 and 5, 61 true shooting percentage. I'm taking that over Mikal. Good to see Mikal moved up, but I'm taking Kyrie over some of these names. I think this is perfect for Mikal. I think ideally you as a Brooklyn Nets fan, you would love to see him continue to take those strides to be a top 30 player. But I think this is fair, and I think this is just. I think Mikal Bridges is perfect right here. I think there's an argument that Jalen Brunson could be higher. Seriously. Jalen Brunson in the regular season, Jalen Brunson in the playoffs, Jalen Brunson showed he is the real deal. Jalen Brunson is like that, especially with all of the doubt that came around his name and what people thought. Jaren Jackson is hard to argue because of the defensive value that he brought to the Grizzlies, Defensive Player of the Year. But I would take Jalen Brunson over Paolo. I would take Jalen Brunson last year over Trae Young. You can argue with Lauri Markkanen for just impact and being there for his team. The numbers are better for Lauri and, most improved player. Jalen Brunson had a better year than Ingram. His damn sure had a better FIBA. So, yeah, Jalen Brunson was the real deal. But I get it. They're projecting. So, Jalen Brunson is cool at 32. Jaren Jackson moved up 20 spots. You got to love it. You have to respect it. I think this is almost perfect for him. Paolo, second-year jump they're projecting. Incredible. He's a star. Paolo is a star. He's a star. Orlando is going to be perfect for him. And I think he's going to have a really, really big year. But again, some of these guys like Jalen Brunson and Kyrie, they're kind of, that shit is written in. You know what I mean? Like, the Magic got to be a playoff team for him to be above those guys. So we'll see. Trae Young, from 16 to 29, he did fail. You have to acknowledge the year that he had last year. I think he's suited up to have a bounce back year more than anybody on this list. He's capable. He's just as capable to get back to the 16, 15 spot. And hopefully he does. If not, I think you have to have the conversation. Jalen Brunson may not be as sexy of a player with the highlights and the long-ass threes and the lobs and things. But production, value to the team, Jalen Brunson had that last year. And the fact that y'all are putting Trae above that still puts even more pressure on us to have these conversations. I'm not mad at it, but I'm just saying we got to keep a close eye on it. I am buying in on Trae Young and the Hawks this year. I'm not saying this as a hater. I'm buying in. I've been a guy that's screaming he has MVP qualities. I want to see him get back to that. Hopefully this is the year with Quinn Snyder having a full year with them. Lauri Markkanen, perfect. Most improved player, phenomenal from start to finish. I think this is great for him. Top 30 player. Hopefully he continues to solidify that in his second year with the Jazz. This is phenomenal. I loved everything about this year. And the fact that he was not ranked to be in top 30, I'm worried. I'm a Brandon Ingram guy. Last year was a tough year, and I'm surprised they even showed him this much love because of the injuries and the down year that he did have, and how you saw how they did Zion Williamson, his teammate. To see them still have him as a top 30 player is extremely surprising. Extremely. Over the likes of Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson, Lauri Markkanen. I love B.I., but this is surprising me. He rose 2 spots. Despite his performances in the FIBA World Cup, there is some confidence that Ingram's NBA performance last season, 24, 6, and 5 on 48, 39s, will carry into the season. That player could be all. It could be, but he has to stay on the court. Like y'all said, he has to stay on the court. Those numbers are all good. Nobody's arguing that. The biggest thing is that he didn't stay on the court for injuries that we didn't deem to be such crazy injuries. You know, he didn't have anything wild. We expected him to be back on the floor a lot sooner than we did, and it kept spiraling until we just were like, oh, Brandon Ingram is not coming back, or he's just out. And we kind of just let it fly under the rug. Drew Holiday, same spot. I'm actually not mad at this. Drew Holiday, this is perfect for him. Mr. Consistent, one of the best on-ball perimeter defenders we have in the league. New situation. Yeah. There's really, even with him going to a new team, he can still show his value, maybe even show more value. So there is a chance he can move up. But Boston is loaded and crowded with a lot of talent. You know, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis. There's a lot there. He can on some nights be 4th option, 3rd option. He can even be 2nd option on some nights too. So it's going to be an interesting year. I think this is fair though. I think this is a very fair spot to put Drew Holiday. Pascal Siakam moved up 5 spots. Arguably could be even higher, but obviously some of the names in front of him we don't want to put. No. This is perfect. Pascal had an amazing year. He continues to ball out for the Toronto Raptors. Hot commodity on the trade market right now. Atlanta wants to buy into that. Even with all of the moving pieces and the struggles that the Raptors had, he was phenomenal. So I think this is perfect for Pascal Siakam. Kawhi. Leonard started last season slowly after missing last year because of ACL, and then early injuries slowed him down. But Leonard came on strong in January and returned to dominant playoff form that made him, yes. If we just talking about the playoffs, then hell yeah. If we talk about the playoffs, he might be too low. If we talk about the playoffs, he should be even high. He should be higher than De'Aaron Fox if we just solely off the playoffs. But I agree. This is fair. This is cool. He failed 12 spots. I pray that we get a full 67, 68 games from him, and we can get one of those years from Kawhi. The playoffs show why we miss and want him to be on the floor. De'Aaron Fox, 23. The year that they had last year, I love this for him. Clutch player of the year. It's going to be hard to duplicate that, but here it is. Give this man his flowers. Took the Kings back to the promised land, which was the playoffs for them after a long, long drought, and he was phenomenal. Phenomenal. So I have no problem with this. He moved up 31 spots, but I'm surprised Sabonis is above him. I would think that he would be above Sabonis. I didn't really click in my mind. That would be the only thing I have. They're teammates, so it don't matter. But I would probably put Fox above Sabonis. I do think I had some comments last year. I'm like, man, Sabonis is sometimes their best player, but the playoffs showed that lives and dies with Fox. And his first full season, Sacramento, Sabonis became the Kings' engine, making everything click for the team. Perfect. Really good year. I would have Pascal Siakam above him. I would also have Kawhi Leonard above him. Well, Kawhi was hurt, but I'll have Pascal above Sabonis. Tyrese Halliburton. My boy, Halliburton made his first All-Star game, 20 and 10, 40% from 3. Boom. Nothing else you can really say. You're projecting. Yeah, I think Halliburton can be close to top 20. There is a conversation, though. Halliburton, Garland, Brunson, Trae. Is Tyrese Halliburton this much of a gap between all of those guys I just named. Is he 10 spots better than Jalen Brunson? Is he this far away from Trey? I'm not saying he's not. I'm just posing a question. Just posing a question. Love Tyrese Halliburton. That's my boy. That's my dog. Karl-Anthony Towns, this is too high. No, this is too high. It's too high. I'm taking Halliburton year last year. I'm taking Sabonis year last. I'm taking Fox. I'm taking Kawhi. I'm taking Pascal. I'm taking Drew. I'm taking Laurie. It's too high. Karl-Anthony Towns should be in the 30s. Should be in the 30s. The injuries, the 29 games we did see, the fit with Rudy, it was just all around. I know what Towns is capable of. I'm just going off of what we saw and the reality that he's in right now. It's too low. I mean, it's too high. Jaylen Brown, 19, good. Love it. Love it. Because a lot of people was showing disrespect to him after the playoffs. I still think he's a high-value player. I like him at 19. This is really good. Paul George, 18, perfect. He failed. He should. Tough year for him last year, dealing with injuries again. The playoffs specifically. Him and Kawhi, we know how that story goes. But I like Paul George at 18. This is safe. He can move up with a healthy year, just the same way Kawhi can move up. But yeah, I think Paul George at 18 is perfect. Jamal Murray moved up significantly. This is what the playoffs and the finals run can do to you. I like this for Jamal Murray. I do. I don't know if I'll put him this high over Fox. They're about 6 spot difference, but I like it. I can't argue with it because he showed up time and time again with the playoffs when they needed it, but he does have the luxury of playing with Jokic. So on some nights when he didn't have it, we didn't really even see. Nobody even really questioned it. That's the only pushback I would give to this, but he can't control who he plays with, so fine. But I do not think him and De'Aaron Fox have this large of a gap, in my personal opinion. Bam at 16 after being ranked 23. Love it. We got to start putting some respect on Bam's name, especially with the value he gives defensively. I know a lot of people want to see more offensively, but he did that a little bit. So we'll give that to Bam Adebayo. Donovan Mitchell at 15. I'm interested to see the 14 names above him because I think Donovan Mitchell could be even higher. Damian Lillard. I'm taking Dame. Anthony Edwards. They're projecting year by year, Donovan Mitchell probably had a better year than Anthony Edwards, in my opinion. They're projecting. Yeah, I think Donovan Mitchell should be where I flip Anthony Edwards to Donovan Mitchell, and I'll be a little bit more happy. But they're projecting. Dame 14 with the Bucks. Dame is probably a top 10 player. Stop playing with Damian Lillard. With the Bucks, I'm taking Dame around top 10. Top 10 for me with the Bucks. Anthony Edwards. Is this? Yes, this is the year. This is high though, man. This is high though. Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, some of these names. This is high, but let's do it. I like this for Anthony Edwards, man. He definitely should be top 15. Only thing I would say, I would probably put the Donovan Mitchell above him slightly. But I think this is good for him, man. I think this is good. I'm happy to see Anthony Edwards here. I'm happy to see him here. Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is always the hardest player to gauge. They had him at 17 last year. They have him at 12. Doesn't take the regular season serious. Team struggled, but then in the playoffs, they went on an immaculate run. Can they do that again? I'm not sure. So maybe Jimmy Butler has to start to take the regular season serious and ball out because the team looks like they're probably going to need it. But he's always the toughest guy. This may be too low based off the postseason that he had. He may be in the top 10 for me, man. Devin Booker, outside of the top 10, him and Jimmy, who, all right. Anthony Davis, phenomenal year. I can't take him out of the top 10. LeBron, can't take him out of the top 10. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not better than Devin Booker. And I don't think he's better than Jimmy Butler. I think Shai is around 12 to 11. I think. I know he had All-NBA. Phenomenal. But Jimmy Butler played like a madman in the playoffs. So did Devin Booker, man. Those guys missed some time. But when it came down to the playoffs and those stages, those dudes rose to the occasion. So Shai, I like it that they're showing love to Shai. But is Shai top 10 and Anthony Edwards is this far out? But again, All-NBA, Shai was It's hard to argue. Anthony Edwards, I see it. Jimmy Butler and Devin Booker, I think, have more of an argument. That's all. But I'm not mad at it. Anthony Davis, yes, I want to see Anthony Davis get even higher on this list. I skipped over Devin Booker. Same thing with Jimmy. I think he should be top 10. I think he should be a top 10 player. A lot of people don't like Devin Booker because he talks shit and backs it up, but cool, whatever. Anthony Davis, amazing year for AD, but I want to see him get higher. I want to see AD at like top 7, top 6. Come on, AD. Answer the bell. Answer the call. And now we got Bron. Bron is about to be Bron is 30, about to be 39, right? Yeah, 38. Yeah, he's about to be 39. Bron about to be 39. He's still top 10. I can't even argue with it. He fell 3 spots. Oh, well, still top 10. Maybe this year you rise. I don't know. They have a better year, and they have a better team in LA from day one. This team looks ready on paper. They have continuity because they played last year. This may be a year where him and Anthony Davis say, man, we both rising. Shea, love it. Good year. All NBA. Moved up 40 spots. Incredible. Nobody can defend this dude. The Thunder are looking to have a promising year. That's another thing I have to remember. They're projecting. So they're projecting him to be better than Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler. And with that back in my memory, I think that's fine. I think that's okay. I like Shea at 8 because the Thunder should be fringe playoff team. It's time. It's time. KD at 7 sounds low, but moving different teams and, Phoenix having the year that they had. But with this full strength Phoenix Suns, full year under their belt, I think KD can rise. I think KD can be even higher. But I get it. Tatum 6. This may be perfect for Tatum because there's going to be some killers above him. But I may have Tatum. I may have Tatum and KD a little bit above Embiid. Oh, hell no. No way. No way. Steph Curry should be number 3 on this list. This is where we get to go. And again, I don't want to nitpick, but the number 1 player is Nikola Jokic. That's number 1. The number 1 player is Nikola Jokic. Number 2 is either Steph Curry or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Then I think at 4, we have Embiid or Tatum. And number 4, so yeah, my number 1 would be Jokic. My number 2 would be Giannis. My number 3 would be Steph Curry. My number 4 would be, I'm also projecting, my number 4 would be Embiid. My number 5 would be Luka. No, my number 5 would be Tatum. My number 6 would be Luka. Luka missed the playoffs last year. Luka is phenomenal, but Luka hasn't had the playoff success yet as some of these guys. Well, I can't say that because Embiid. I'll take that back. I'm sorry, Luka. But at least Embiid got the MVP. I don't know. It's tough. This is very tough. All I know is Steph ain't 5. I'll tell you that. Steph is top 3, potentially 2, depending on who you ask. When we get to Tatum, Luka, Embiid, it gets tough. Tatum, Eastern Conference Finals. Finals before that. Luka historically hasn't had the help that Embiid and Tatum has had, so you gotta cut him some slack there. Embiid can't get past a certain spot in the playoffs, but he is the MVP. So it's like, man, I think I'm going Jokic, but I think Jokic is undisputably number 1. 2 and 3, Giannis or Steph, however you want to slice up the pie. 4, you have to go Embiid, reigning MVP, put some respect on his name. The playoffs is glaring, and it is time, but we'll let him have 4 for now. And then at 5, you go Tatum, and then you go Luka. And then Luka's going to come in, ball out, have an MVP year. He'll get to number 4. If Embiid don't do what he need to do in the playoffs, he'll slip to probably 7 or 8 because he is a part of some of the playoff stuff. It ain't just like James Harden or just Ben Simmons. It's just all of these. No, Embiid is responsible. All in all, the list was cool. There are some glaring things. I don't believe there's 50 spots between Jared Allen and Mitchell Robinson. I don't believe Tyrese Halliburton is in a whole different realm than Jalen Brunson and Trae Young and De'Aaron Fox. He was a little closer to De'Aaron Fox. I don't think Steph Curry is the 5th best player in the league. I don't think Jokic is not undisputably number 1. Jokic, like how are we not having Jokic as number 1? Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler not top 10 after the postseason runs that they had. Are we, some players, Vic 47, without a game being played, I understand, but Scoot was super high above his teammate Anthony Simons. Are we sure that we want to roll like that? I do think that there are some players that were properly placed in here. I think Franz was properly placed. I love the area that they had Paolo in. And I think it's important to remember that there's a little bit of last year and there's a little bit of them projecting. I don't think Sabonis should be above De'Aaron Fox. It was clear and evident in the playoffs that De'Aaron Fox is the best player on the Kings. I think Donovan Mitchell should be higher than Anthony Edwards, even with projecting, because Donovan Mitchell was second best shooting guard behind Devin Booker last year. So there's a lot of different things on the list. Again, I watched it with a general reaction. I didn't want to do too much nitpicking, especially spot by spot. But I do think when you talk about a player being higher or better, some of these guys are better than the guys that are in front of them. So that's my main point. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. I tried to go through it. I know a lot of people are going to run through it. We here for an hour. I really wanted to spend some time and give y'all some thoughts because I know a lot of y'all really want to hear certain things about y'all players on y'all teams. Let me know what you agree or disagree with. As always, I am Pee Wee the Plug. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that like button for me. I'll see y'all next time. I'm out. Peace.